World War II is one of those moments in history that feels too massive to fully grasp at first glance. It's a conflict that spanned 6 continents, involved more than 100 million soldiers, triggered unimaginable human suffering, and reshaped the world order in ways that still influence global politics, economies, and societies today. But despite its overwhelming scale, the war didn't appear out of thin air. It grew from a mix of unresolved tensions, broken treaties, extreme ideologies, economic disasters, and powerful individuals who saw an opportunity to reshape the world through force. Understanding how it all began is the first step in understanding why World War II remains the defining event of the 20th century. The seeds were planted in the ruins left behind after World War I. Germany was defeated, humiliated, burdened with crushing reparations, and stripped of territory. The global economy collapsed during the Great Depression, and desperation created an environment where extreme political movements could thrive. Out of this chaos rose Adolf Hitler, a charismatic but ruthless leader promising to restore German pride, rebuild its economy, and avenge the humiliation of the past. Meanwhile, Japan, hungry for resources and global status, turned toward militarism, invading China and expanding aggressively across Asia. Italy, under Mussolini, dreamed of restoring a Roman-style empire in Africa. These three powers, Germany, Italy, and Japan, formed the Axis, united by ambition, aggression, and defiance of the international order. Europe watched anxiously as Germany violated treaty after treaty. Rearmament was followed by the remilitarization of the Rhineland, the annexation of Austria, and the takeover of Czechoslovakia. Each time the world hesitated, the democracies of Britain and France remembered the horrors of World War I and hoped appeasement could prevent another catastrophe. But Hitler interpreted hesitation as weakness. When Germany invaded Poland on September 1, 1939, Britain and France finally declared war, launching a conflict that quickly consumed the entire globe. The early years of the war were dominated by rapid German victories. Hitler's new military strategy, blitzkrieg, combined tanks, aircraft, and mobile infantry into a fast and overwhelming assault that stunned Europe. Poland collapsed in weeks. Denmark and Norway followed. The Low Countries fell. France, thought to be invincible behind the Maginot Line, was defeated in just 6 weeks. By mid-1940, Europe was under German control except for Britain, which stood alone against the Axis. Then came one of the most defining moments of the war, the Battle of Britain. The German Luftwaffe sought to destroy Britain's air defenses, preparing for a potential invasion. But British pilots, aided by radar and fighting on home soil, held the line. The failed air campaign marked Hitler's first major defeat and proved that the Axis war machine was not unstoppable. In 1941, Hitler made what many historians consider his most catastrophic decision, invading the Soviet Union. Operation Barbarossa opened the largest land invasion in history, stretching German forces across thousands of miles. At first, the Germans advanced rapidly, capturing entire armies and pushing deep into Soviet territory. But the Soviet Union refused to collapse. Harsh winters, long supply lines, fierce resistance, and brutal counterattacks turned the invasion into a war of attrition Germany could not sustain. Meanwhile, across the world, another front exploded. On December 7, 1941, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, drawing the United States into the war. This transformed the conflict from a regional struggle into a truly global showdown. America's industrial strength, combined with the resilience of the Soviet Union and the determination of Britain, set the foundation for the eventual defeat of the Axis powers. As the war intensified, the world witnessed its darkest chapter, the Holocaust. Nazi ideology, fueled by hatred and racial supremacy, turned into a systematic campaign to exterminate millions of Jews, Roma, disabled people, and other targeted groups. By the war's end, 6 million Jews had been murdered. The Holocaust is not just a historical detail, it is a stark reminder of the extreme consequences of intolerance, authoritarianism, and unchecked power. In 1942 and 1943, momentum began to shift. The Allies achieved decisive victories in North Africa, driving Axis forces out after the Battle of El Alamein. In the Pacific, the Battle of Midway crippled Japan's naval power, marking a turning point in the region. The most brutal turning point, however, came at Stalingrad. In a city reduced to rubble, Soviet defenders fought street by street, eventually encircling and defeating an entire German army. The defeat shattered the myth of German invincibility. From that point forward, the Allies pushed relentlessly. Italy surrendered in 1943, and German forces retreated on all fronts. In June 1944, the Allies launched the largest amphibious invasion in history, liberating France and opening a Western front. The Soviets advanced from the east, crushing German resistance as they closed in on Berlin. In April 1945, Hitler committed suicide in his bunker. Germany surrendered shortly after. In the Pacific, the United States employed a strategy called island hopping, capturing key islands while bypassing heavily fortified positions. Fierce battles at Iwo Jima and Okinawa revealed the extreme lengths Japan was willing to go to avoid defeat. Faced with the prospect of a devastating invasion of Japan, the United States made a controversial and world-changing decision, dropping atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945. Days later, Japan surrendered, bringing World War II to an end. When the dust settled, the world was transformed. Old empires collapsed. The United Nations was formed to prevent future global conflicts. The U.S. and Soviet Union emerged as superpowers, setting the stage for the Cold War. Decolonization movements accelerated across Africa and Asia. The global economy was rebuilt through initiatives like the Marshall Plan. Borders shifted, populations relocated, and the international order was redesigned around the lessons learned from the war's devastation. For beginners trying to understand why World War II matters today, the answer is simple: the modern world exists because of it, the international systems we rely on, the geopolitical tensions we see today, and the technologies we use were all shaped by this conflict. The war teaches us about the danger of unchecked power, the fragility of peace, and the importance of global cooperation. As you wrap up this video, remember that learning history isn't just about memorizing dates or battles. It's about understanding how human choices, good or bad, shape the world we live in. If you learned something new or want more deep dive history breakdowns, make sure to subscribe, drop a like, and tell me which war or historical event you want to explore next.